Hi, I hope all is well with you and that you're staying safe. This week, we will be reading two Parshios, Matos and Masei. In Parshas Matos, Shvatim of Ruvain and Gad request permission from Moshe Rabbeinu to remain on the east side of the Jordan River and settle their families and cattle outside of Eretz Yisrael. The reason they give is that since they were blessed with an abundance of livestock, they would have more room to graze their herds on the east side of the Jordan River rather than in Eretz Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu immediately castigates them and ridicules their intentions of not joining the rest of Bnei Israel in fighting for Eretz Yisrael. Only after finishing his diatribe do they answer by saying that they certainly intended to join the fight for Eretz Yisrael, and only after all was conquered would they return to the other side of the Jordan and join their families. The question is, why did they not immediately defend themselves when Moshe began to criticize them, and instead they simply listened passively to Moshe Rabbeinu's critical words? There's a famous story about one of the Ger Rebbes, the Sfas Emes, who was a young boy, was a very diligent student. And one morning, he took a nap after spending the entire night learning with his chavrusa. His grandfather, who didn't know he was up all night, the Ger Rebbe, known as a Chidushei Harim, in whose home he was raised, reprimanded him for spending too much time sleeping. Throughout the tochacha that his grandfather gave him, the young boy stood erect without defending himself. After it was all over, his chavrusa asked why he hadn't stopped his grandfather to explain his actions. The future Sfas Emes replied that he didn't want to stop his grandfather because he wanted to hear the reproof that he was given. The tochacha, he explained, if received properly, can propel an individual to even greater heights. Shevet Ruvain and Gad felt the same way regarding the reproof of Moshe Rabbeinu, and it was because of this that they only defended themselves after Moshe concluded his words. Tochacha, or as put in modern terminology, constructive criticism, is perhaps one of the most important pieces of advice that we can receive. The challenge is to find someone to give us honest, constructive criticism. In many cases, we either know people who are insincere in their words and are really interested in putting us down, or they're frightened of losing our friendship and therefore are afraid to be totally honest with us. As we go through life, it's imperative to find individuals who will be honest with us and help us stay on the true path when we have strayed. It's very hard to be our own honest judge, as we know that we aren't no gabadavar. We're very prejudiced. Ideally, it's a spouse who can gently, tactfully, and lovingly point out our needs for improvement. But until one is zocher to find themselves in such circumstances, she must pray to Hashem and follow the words of Chazal who say in Pirkei Avos, Koneh lecha chaver, even buy yourself a friend in order to receive an honest critique as to how you are doing. May the Rebbeinu Shalom bless us with insight in order to stay as close to the proper path as possible and provide us with friends with whom we can grow and can help each other continue to move in a positive direction. Have a wonderful day and a meaningful Shabbos. Called to.